Hi, I'm Henry, and the topic I've chosen today would be Is punishment an effective behavior modification strategy in children? And today I'm going to discuss one of the research papers conducted regarding this topic. The study I've chosen is conducted by Withrop and Holden, and the title of this topic would be Children's Assessment of Corporal Punishment and Other Disciplinary Practices. The role of age, race, SES, and exposure to spanking. A little bit background info about this article. It is a journal of applied developmental psychology, and it is received on the 25th of September 2008 and available online on the 26th of February 2010. So I will provide you some introduction about this article. In studying which variables impacts children's evaluation of discipline, most research has centered 5 independent variables: type of transgression preceding the discipline, disciplinary agent, child's gender, child's age, and prior exposure to disciplinary techniques. However, in this research, we have limited the number of independent variables. We here only focus on the impacts of child's age and several types of prior exposure to corporal punishment. The main purpose of this study was to investigate children's assessment of corporal punishment, specifically spanking, in comparison with 3 other disciplinary techniques commonly used in American homes, which is the reasoning, withdrawal of privilege, and timeout. And we have 5 hypotheses in this experiment, which is a little bit more complicated. And I will show you through the iPad. And these are the hypotheses. The first hypothesis would be younger children are more probable to accept spanking. The second hypothesis would be children would select reasoning as the best and most effective form of disciplinary action compared to the others. The third hypothesis would be children would see spanking as a worse overall method when compared to other techniques. And the continued version, which is the fourth hypothesis, children whom exposed more to spanking would judge it as fair and effective method. And the fifth one would be children from lower social economic status families were exposed more to spanking and view it more positively regardless of race. Next, we'll be talking about participants. A total of 108 children aged 6 to 10 years old and one of their parents participated, which consists of 56 boys and 52 girls. This age range allowed for grouping of children into younger group, which is 6 to 7 years old, and the older group, which is 8 to 10 years old. Next, method of data collection, which is parents' questionnaire and interview from child after watching the videotapes provided. And how does parents' questionnaire works? Parents are to fill out 10 questions concerning the frequency with which the parents had used various disciplinary methods. Only 2 items relating to corporal punishment were used in this study: how frequently parents had spanked their children in the past week, and how frequently they spanked when the children was 5 years old. And each question was rated on a 5-point scale. As for videotapes and children's interview, videotape disciplinary scenes were developed for this study as the stimulus material. 4 sets of videotapes were created so that child depicted in the video matched the gender and race of the participant, and the race of the mother shown in the video also matched of that the participating child. So there will be a table that I would like to show you as the example of the disciplinary scene. I apologize as the picture is a bit blur, but as you can see, there are 4 videos shown to the children which show 4 different kinds of situation. The first one would be timeout scene, withdraw privilege scene, reasoning scene, and the spanking scene. And in each scene, the mother react differently according to the child's misbehavior. The results section will be organized around the 5 hypotheses. And these are the 4 results found in this research paper. As you can see, younger children rated spanking as more fair than older children. This supports the first hypothesis made in the experiment, which is younger children are more probable to accept spanking. As for the second results, age as a significant factor for children in choosing disciplinary techniques, but race and social economic status were not. This will reject the second, third, and the 5th hypothesis of the experiment. And let me recap. The second hypothesis is children will select reasoning as the best and most effective form of disciplinary action compared to others, and children would see spanking as a worse overall method when compared to other techniques. And the 5th hypothesis is children from lower social economic status families will expose more to spanking and view it more positively regardless of race. But the second results clearly deny the 5th hypothesis, showing that social economic status is not a factor and age is a significant factor in determining children's favorite disciplinary techniques. And the third result is to support the second results, which is clearly shows that older children were expected to endorse withdrawal of privilege than spanking as compared to younger children. And the fourth and the last result is children with greater exposure to spanking will rate spanking as the best method, and this helps in supporting the 4th hypothesis made, which is children whom exposed more to spanking would judge it as a fair and effective method. Alright, here comes the conclusion. The first and the 4th hypothesis were well supported with the results given, where the second, third, 5th hypothesis were not well reflected in the finding, as the preferences of disciplinary method depend more on the age range of the children but not on race and socio-economic status of the families. So from this, we can conclude that the punishment is an effective behavioral modification strategy for younger children instead of the older children group. So there are a few limitations in this experiment. The first limitation, as shown in the iPad, is results may not be accurate because their views expressed in the videotape might not be as what they are actually thinking and experiencing. And for the second limitation, it is unclear that the children's assessment of the different discipline methods would affect their further behavior. So, limitation 2. Children are not cognitive enough and verbally advanced enough to articulate their evaluation of disciplinary methods. This is because probably children are too young and they are not mature enough to self-express in the findings. The fourth limitation. Children's response were based on the reaction to the videotape, the disciplinary scenes, rather than the discipline they experience, which is true that the results are only based on one video watched by the children instead of the reality they are experiencing. And the last limitation I would like to add on is only mother is used as a disciplinary agent in the research paper, where the role of father or maybe even guardian and the mother all should be included in the findings of this report will be more accurate in reflecting the child's reaction towards the video. Lastly, why did I choose children's assessment of corporal punishment and other disciplinary practices as the most relevant one to the topic? This is simply because in this experiment, it consists of children range from the age of 6 to 10, where it involves more range of children, and also children are able to directly reflect their view on which disciplinary techniques are actually effective. Where the second research paper, its downfall will be it only includes children at the age of 3, which they might not be mentally mature enough to express their view and perform in the experiment. And for the third research paper, its downfall will be on the third research paper only focus on the exposure of abusive treatment during childhood and the adjustment of their behavior on the adulthood. And the adulthood means that at the age of 18, which is clearly is not considered as children anymore, so it's not as relevant as the first topic. This is end of my presentation. Thank you very much.